Hello and welcome to episode 140 of my Wurm Unlimited tutorial series. This episode will be on making an Amphora Rack and taking a look at its usefulness. And oh my goodness, this is king of usefulness. Well, at least on par with the planter rack. Anyway, because I'm recording this episode the same day as the planter rack, Rainstorm is still poorly, but know that she is here and lovely as ever. So what is an Amphora Rack? Why? Well, here, I'm sorry, I got my notes a bit mixed up then. Here is a description from the wonderful Wurmpedia. A rack to store amphoras used to store large and small pottery amphoras in one place for easy access. Now, my dear viewers, do you yet comprehend what a massive use this has for all you blacksmiths, leather workers, or what about even those of you that like to paint or dye things? You will now, in theory, although I'm going to actually demonstrate this, you will now in theory though, however, be able to store a large lake of liquid on one tile. Now notice I did not say water, I said liquid, because you can store tannin, water, oil, or what was the other one? Dye, that's it. So you can fit all these different types of liquids on one tile, and you can store an equivalent of about a large lake. The gamester is not going mad, worry not. I took ample meds earlier. I kid you not with the large lake, and I will even, like I say, give a little demonstration of your newfound wunderbar storage masterpiece. To make the Amphora Rack, you will use your carpentry skill, and the same with the last rack that I did, and the same with the large storage unit. You'll need a carpentry skill of 30 in order to begin, and the total materials needed are the same as the last rack that we made, which was the planter rack, which is one large nail, one wooden beam and 4 planks. And again, the weight of the rack is 6.50 kilograms when complete. Here are some notes on the Amphora Rack. It can be planted, cannot be mailed, can hold up to 12 large amphoras, can hold up to 30 small amphoras, can hold a combination of both small and large amphoras. So you can have 6, for example, you can have 6 large amphoras and 15 small amphoras in a rack at the same time. And lastly, can be picked up whether empty or full. But bear in mind, if their amphoras are full of water, you most certainly will not be able to pick it up if it's full, and I'm going to demonstrate why. Okay, now before I start with all the demonstrations, because I feel I have missed demonstrations out a lot in some of the episodes, and I do like to overemphasize with each new subject that I cover as much as possible, and so for this episode I feel it's a good idea to just give you a good taste of why these are so fantastic. Anyway, so let's make one, shall we? Thank you to Rainstorm, who again has made all the racks, got all the materials here, and brought together the wagons, the carts and everything else that I'm going to be demonstrating with. So thank you very much, Rainstorm. Okay, so let's open this first and show you. So here's the materials needed: 1 wooden beam, 4 planks, 1 large nail. You need a log in order to make a wooden beam, because I don't think I've actually ever made a wooden beam before, as Rainstorm pointed out. So let's just show you that. So if I put the log in my pocket, bring up the recipe window, go to the recipes and put in beam, you'll see there's the wooden beam. you need the hatchet with the log, so let's add that to the crafting window. So there you go, that and that will get you a wooden beam. Okay, enough said. Let's put that back in. In fact, that's the crafting recipes. Let's drop this log once I've got all this stuff, because I won't need the log and I don't want to be weighted down. So we'll grab that and we'll just drop the... oh no, I better not drop a log, as I might be in big trouble. So let's just put it in the wagon. We'll stay on the safe side. Okay, right, so let's now make ourselves a rack. So again, if you want to place it up against a wall, you would go to the side of the wall like this and place it like this, because when it's placed it will face that direction. So let's go here and let's show you first the old school way. So activate a large nail, right click on your wooden beam, create container, Amphora Rack. Notice the planter rack is much easier to make. Okay, so let's click on this. Actually no, I'm going to show you through using the recipe window. So that's how you do it old school. Okay. Next though, I want to show you using the crafting windows, because they're much nicer. So in here we'll type Amphora, that should be enough. Yep, there we go. So there's the rack. Notice it's using the carpentry skill to make it, and there's the items that I've listed to you that you need. So let's add that, and let's whack that down to 1 and click create. Oh yeah, remember it's only a 43% chance, so I failed. Let's try again. There we go. If at first you don't succeed. Okay, so now let's add this to the crafting window. Remember, you just simply right click on it and choose add to crafting window, puts it in your crafting window. Now we just need to add the planks. Whack this up to 4 and continue. And there we go. We now have an awesome Amphora Rack. Okay, now let's start demonstrating why this is a must-have item, just like your planter rack. So for starters, remember I said they weigh 6.50 kilograms, so you can pick them up. There you go, got one in my pocket. Okay, over here I've got 4 more, so let's grab them. Right, first of all, let's show you a different way of how you can place them. So you can either place them one at a time, the way I've just shown you, and they'll face the direction. But let's say you want to fit a lot of them on one tile. Well, you might have the question, mightn't you? How many can you fit on one tile, Gamester? You might be asking me. So, and this is something I've not shown with the other racks, so I thought time to show it. The answer to that is, I have no idea, because if I've got these 5 racks here, let's go to the wagon, open that up. So I've got another 6, let's put them in my pocket, so that's 11 racks I've got on me, okay? Let's now go to this one tile here and show you what happens if you place them all at once. Right click, drop on ground, bang, look at that. That's 11 racks. How much space are they using up? Well, you can see a tiny amount of space. Yes, it will take time to open in each individual one and fill it up, but this gives you an idea of just how many different racks you can fit on a single tile. And I am quite sure you can just do another stack here, another stack here, another stack here. You could have a warehouse of full racks of full large amphoras on one tile, just like I said at the beginning of this episode. So let's take this a step further then. So we now know there's no limit really to how many we fit on the tile. The only difficulty, of course, will be opening them all on that same tile. So what you'll do obviously is start with one stack, make sure you've gone through them all and filled them up with full amphoras of water, and then move on to another stack on that tile if you're really pressed for space. So here's the next question then. How do you move a amphora rack when it's full of water? So what I'm going to do, well, here's another question as well while we're on the note of questions. Can you fit amphora racks into a cart? So let's demonstrate and answer your question. Here's a large cart, it's empty. Can we fit amphora racks into it? Let's try. Don't take my word for it. No, you can't. So you can't fit amphora racks in large carts. But as you see earlier, you can fit into wagons. So your next question is, how many can you fit into a wagon, Gamester? So let's open it up. Let's drag and drop the whole stack of 11. The answer is 6. You can fit 6 amphora racks into a wagon. The rest you'd have to carry on your person. So that leads you then to the next question. Gamester, how can we fill up an amphora rack full of water? Well, in here is a rack. That Rainstorm was kind enough to not only make the rack, but also to fill it with amphoras. So here you've got a demonstration of 6 large and 15 small. But she's taken it a step further, because also now we can demonstrate that these are full of a liquid. For this example, we're using water, but there could be anything in there: tannin, dye, oil, water. If it's a liquid, it can fit in. So as you can see, this rack is full of amphoras, small and large. But how do you move a rack full of amphoras full of water? Or indeed, how do you place this? How do you fill this? So first of all, let's look at the problem of filling it. So let's imagine, right, okay, you have a rack and it's full of the amphoras, but they have no water in them. So how do you fill them all up? Because they're going to be far too heavy for you. So what you'll do is, obviously, you will utilize your wagon. So we'll go to the wagon. Oops, let's ride it. We'll now take that to the well, and we will simply empty the well, or the fountain, and the well of all their water. So here's the fountain. What we will do, open the fountain up, open our wagon, see here's our amphoras, and now we will proceed to empty the fountain of water. Only amphora can be put into the rack. This is strange. Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to fill the wrong item, that's why. I'm having a moment. Bear with me. So, right, okay, that's amphoras, which is not what I wanted to demonstrate. What I actually wanted to demonstrate was filling, first of all, the pottery amphoras. So here we have, they're empty. So let's put them into the wagon. I might have to take these racks out to fit more in. Yeah, there we go. Right, so there's our large pottery amphoras. So let's now proceed to empty the well, the fountain I should say. Okay, that's the fountain empty. Let's now empty the well. Oops. Okay, so you get the idea. Now if you're having to travel to a body of water, you can see that you can do them with an empty wagon. You can do 13 large amphoras at a time. Now when I said to you that you can make a large lake on a single tile, it's going to take time. You can't just fill it magically with water. You're going to have to do the process of going back and forth with your large pottery amphoras. You're going to need to find a location where you want to make this massive storage of water. You will then go to that tile, place down your racks, open one of your racks up, put in, oh, have I got no large left? So then you'd put in your, you can't obviously drag and, oh, you can drag and drop them, I didn't even realise that. So we simply now drag them from the wagon and put them in. And so there you are. Remember, you can fit 30 large, so this will fit another 18 into it. But of these ones still need to be filled up with water. We basically run out of water. So you'd load up your wagon full of your large pottery amphoras, go to the a water source, whether that's a lake, stream, whatever, and you will fill them all up with your water, or you'll fill them with your dye or your oil or your tannin. You'll then come back and then start putting them into the different racks, and then you can have fun trying to find all the different racks, because you could, as you can imagine, have hundreds on the same tile. So there we go, that is a lot of water that you're going to be able to store. Now let's see, I just know there was lots of other things I wanted to demonstrate. The question is, can I still think of them? See, I'd asked Rainstorm, but unfortunately she's still feeling poorly and I don't want her to have to speak. Let's just check, was there anything I left in there? No. And I won't be able to find that rack that I put them all in, so let's just throw these in there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to mention. Oh, did you know as well that you can put the small pottery amphoras into the large? Not sure if you knew that, but there you go, there's a little extra information. So now you can fill these up with water, and I'm not sure how many small you can fit into a large. You can't fit a large into a large before you try that, but you can fit the small into a large. And then of course you can fill them with water, and so you can have an even bigger lake on that one tile. Right, I think that really is all I wanted to mention. So there you go, that's why it's so useful, the Amphora Rack, because you can just have tons and tons of water contained on one tile next to your forge, or your wherever you leather work, or wherever you're painting, dyeing, or doing whatever you want to do. Anyway, so there we go. I want to finish this episode by saying a huge thank you to Rainstorm for again preparing all of the stuff for me that I could then use and demonstrate to all you guys out there across the world. Thank you very much, Rainstorm. As usual, your help has been much appreciated. Wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every last one of you safe. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. Goodbye.